Hey, good day, everybody. Fun one. I am coming to you from the Yavapai campus. I was in the computer lab for a couple hours, had a few students stop by and get some tutoring from me. I just happened to be here from Tennessee for 3 days, so I thought that I'd offer it to everybody. So if you came by, awesome. It was good to see you, good to meet you, and I'm glad that I could help with your assignments. Um, this is going to be a quick and easy lecture this week because it really comes down to just you having time to work. So I'm just going to kind of run through what we're doing. It's a slight bit different from what you've done the last few weeks, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So this week is VFX and graphics. That's all you need to be worried about. So you're not doing any color correction, not doing any editing, you're not doing anything else except for visual effects and graphics. So right off the bat, make sure that you have your week five color correction assignment turned in. And then from there, we'll start working on this week's assignment. So we'll jump over here. So I've given you a bunch of tutorials. Honestly, just as many as I possibly could, just to give you a lot of options. And really, these are not the only ones that you have to go through. These are just ones that were readily available that are pretty darn solid and look really good. I've done a lot of these for different things. You can go to YouTube, and if you're trying something new via visual effects for your assignments, you can YouTube it. And if you find a tutorial that you like that you want to follow, you are welcome to do that. If you feel like you are competent enough within After Effects or Premiere Pro to create good visual effects, then feel free. Create it from your own brain. I find that usually at this level, people have a beginning level of After Effects or visual effects, and they need a little bit of help along for inspiration and such. So please, by all means, feel free to go find tutorials to walk through. So a couple of you have selected the mad scientist where there's a laser gun or something that is used, and I've given you a couple tutorials. Here's a Mandalorian tutorial. Here's a another Star Wars tutorial. This one right here. Oh, looks like I doubled it up. This is a really good one, but is very intricate, but it also looks Hollywood good. If you follow this is Hollywood level. Probably would take you about 3 to 4 hours to make the graphic. This is a really great one. Um, Also, you'll need to know how to mask if you're doing the other project where there's a giant foot that squashes somebody. So you need to learn how to mask around different things. So there's a masking tutorial here. There's a layers and masking tutorial here. And then I've also given you three different ideas for credits that you can use because you'll be creating credits. I'll go through the assignments in just a second. Um, anyway, these are just some great places to start uh, on YouTube tutorials for your visual effects as well as your credits. Okay, let's move on to the next. So you have two assignments this week. Assignment number one is your visual effects. So we have the two films. We have one film where the person is getting squished, and we have a second film where there's a laser going off and a person's getting shot and disintegrated by a laser. This is your assignment for that portion of this week. So it says each of the films include at least one scene where visual effects will need to be incorporated. In fact, there are multiple opportunities in both films to apply visual effects. So not only are there the big visual effects, but there's also small ones that you can use. Okay? These effects may range from large scale elements such as full frame camera shake. So think as a kaiju is getting close, it's stepping down. Maybe you're hearing a thump in the background, and the screen shakes, or the you do a screen shake. It creates the whole thing just a little bit, and it gets more intense as the kaiju gets closer before the guy gets stepped on. Just a thought. I've had students do that, and it looks really good, and it really helps emphasize the film and what's happening. Let's see here. These are large range cause for immediate threat, like a giant lizard, to small details like electrical sparks with a laboratory setting. So, in the laboratory setting, as there's panning across the screen and things in the background, there could be a little electrical sparks, and you can hear a little electrical buzzes and stuff. We're going to get to audio soon. So, when we get to audio, you'll be able to add the sound effects to your visual effects. So emphasis here, do not add sound effects to your visual effects this week. You'll get marked down because we're not doing audio yet. Audio is a completely separate piece, and the visual effects people in a professional environment do not add audio. The audio department is the one that's going to add that. So when we get to audio, you'll be able to do that. Okay. Um, there's plenty of subtle places to put visual effects in. The whole point of this is to make your film really feel like it's immersive and the audience feels like they're watching something that, though it's not real, feels real. Okay, you are required to create one primary visual effects: the laser, the giant lizard foot stomping. Those are the two that you have to choose from the two films. This shot should be demonstrated. That should demonstrate your high level of effort and technical abilities. So make sure that is perfect. In addition, identify and produce any secondary visual elements that enhance the story, such as camera shakes, smoke, or environmental effects like electricity or things like that. So this right here, there are multiple places that you can do. I will be looking for those types of things. I don't want to call them a requirement, but at the same time, I would suggest that you go find one or two smaller ones that will take you little time, but will enhance. I mean, you may use online resources, including tutorials on YouTube, to learn how to achieve special effects you intend to create. Ex- um, Acceptable software is Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects, so make sure that you're using those. Okay. For each visual effects shot you complete, capture a screenshot that shows your timeline in your editing software, so I can see the workflow. And then I want you to turn in your uh, I want you to turn in a screenshot of the visual effects timeline. Okay, so that's what you're going to be turning into me. In this right here, you are not turning in the visual effect to me in this assignment. I'm only getting the screenshot of each one that you created. Okay, you'll be turning in the whole thing in the next assignment, in assignment two. So the big thing here is find your visual effects shots, not your credits, not your title, but your visual effects. Okay, your your lightning, your laser, your bubbles, your smoke, your foot stomping down, your camera shake, all those different visual effects. That's what you're creating for this assignment. Let's move on to the next assignment. In the next assignment, create a title sequence and and end credits for your film. Okay. Approach this creatively. Avoid relying on simple text that fades in and out. Instead, invest in time. Okay. And design and engage a visual, compelling title sequence. Okay. I'm looking for creativity for your titles and your credits. I don't want to see just your text fade in and call the mad scientist and then it fades out. I don't want to see text that fades in and calls it the kaiju and it fades in and then it shakes once and then it fades out. I'm looking for a creative sequence. Okay. So develop your title sequence, not just a title, but your sequence using Adobe After Effects or Premiere Pro. Consider this sequence as the setup for your film. How can you capture the attention and provide a preview of what is to come? Okay. So think of any sort of big title sequence for a big Hollywood budget film. It's usually not just Avengers Endgame fades on and Avengers Endgame fades off, and Avengers Endgame title is done. There's usually something more to it. Okay. Be creative. Find something that you want to do and make it look awesome. Okay. Same thing goes with your end credits. Go above and beyond the standard scrolling credits. If you turn in scrolling credits and that's it, there's nothing else done to them, just scrolling credits, you're going to get a zero on that part. I want you to be creative. This is your chance to shine in putting an end cap. So think about how your credit can serve as a conclusion to your film. For example, can they extend the narrative, hint at a sequel, or incorporate outtakes or additional visual elements? Be sure, oops, be sure to include yourself in the credits, listing all relevant roles you fulfilled, such as editor, motion graphics artist, visual effects artist, colorist, or any other contributions. Okay, so make sure you're put in there. But also remember, when you downloaded this footage, there was all kinds of extra paperwork that came along with the folder. So there was all the different jobs and the people that did the jobs, the original people. You need to make sure that they're in the credits. Okay. Once you've completed it and incorporated both your title sequence and your credits for the film, along with visual effects in the previous assignment, export the full version and upload that to YouTube and turn the link in here. And then finally, provide a screenshot of the graphics you did in either Premiere Pro or After Effects to ensure that the screenshot can clearly see the timeline so I can see what you've done. Okay, so to break it all down, please, by all means, go through and read your assignments so you have a full understanding of what's being said. But in a paraphrase, assignment one, you're going to go in and create every visual effect that you can that you feel will amplify the film. And then you're going to go to assignment two. And in assignment two, you're going to create a intro sequence, title sequence. So you're going to have a title appear on the screen in some way that is very interesting and helps set off the story or helps build to the story that you're telling. And then when you're done with that, you will create a credit sequence, and the credit sequence will put an end cap. Okay, it's a lot of work this week. I hope that everybody is watching this video and they're watching it early, because you're probably going to invest anywhere from 8 to 12 plus hours. It's very possible that you will invest a lot more time. This is probably one of the more time consuming, probably one of the more time consuming sets of assignments that you'll do. Okay. So don't wait to the last minute. Start early, utilize your time appropriately, and don't just get something done and turn it in just for the sake of turning it in. You will be graded critically on your ability to create something interesting that amplifies your story. Okay. I hope everybody has a great week. That's all for you. I don't have a lecture. I'm not going to go through After Effects to show you After Effects. I'd take an hour or two just to get through the basics of what's going on. Um, but if you don't know After Effects and you're using Premiere Pro, go find different Premiere Pro tutorials. Go find After Effects tutorials. I suppose if you're using DaVinci, go find Fusion tutorials if that's what you're using as Fusion. Okay. If you need me, by all means, please email, and I will be more than happy to get back to you. And if I need to create some videos or whatever to help you along this week, I am more than happy to do so. This is, in my opinion, is the funnest week, but it is also the week that you have to work the hardest and put the most effort in. All righty, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I really look forward to seeing this. We're getting close. We have to do some audio after this, and then some slight tweaking, and then we're going to be done. All righty, guys. I'll catch you later.